Okay, so this is a stream or a tutorial on how to use Source Filmmaker. And basically, I am starting with the very basics, and I'm hoping to go into more in-depth things, such as I don't know, changing materials and animation and animation techniques and all that kind of stuff. But for right now, you can't really animate if you have no idea how to start the program or use it. So I'm gonna show you how to do that stuff. Can I swear? Is it possible for me to swear? I don't.
Awesome deltoids, Tadville.
I didn't turn off the tier 2. Okay, well I guess if you tier 2 sub, you'll just be very loud and in the recording. That's fine. Anyway, so let's start. So first you're going to install Source Filmmaker. In order to have Source Filmmaker, you are going to also need to have installed Team Fortress 2. This is because Source Filmmaker runs on a version of Team Fortress 2 and needs TF2 installed for it to take the assets from it. So basically you're going to launch it. It's going to bring up these two windows, and it starts on Source Filmmaker, Source Launch SDK. I have no idea what that is. This is already off to a great start. Launch Source Filmmaker by clicking Launch. And after a bit, the program will start. Okay, and then it'll take you to, well, if this is your first time opening it, then you won't see it like this. It'll just be this, because there is no recent session to open. But you're going to start a new session. If you are playing along at home, I am going to make this as paint by numbers as I can. So basically this is directly to where it's going to go. User mod, elements, session. User mod is basically your personal folder for anything you want in the Source Filmmaker directory. And I'm just gonna call this one tutorial. You can call it whatever you want. You can call it, we can call it, I sure do like having a any belly button, because if I didn't, I'd look real .dmx. I mean, we can call it whatever we want, but for right now, for filing sake, I will call it tutor, sure, whatever. And you're gonna click create. It's gonna take a while, probably because it is, yeah, okay. So it takes a little bit in the beginning if your thing isn't starting up immediately, because it is checking to see if you have anything subscribed on the workshop. And I do not. So here we are. Actually, your Source Filmmaker would actually look more like this if you're just starting. Right? So I can make it look like this, and we'll go ahead and I'll talk about that later. But so first what you're gonna want to do, I guess I can go over all these things. This is the primary viewport. This is where you're going to see everything that happens. This is the timeline, the animation set editor, and it has a bunch of tabs over here. You have the element viewer, which allows you to get more in depth with the particles and models and everything that you're using. This is the console. If you've played TF2, you've probably dabbled in the console. It is used to basically run things within the like I said, it runs on Team Fortress 2, so you're basically running things within TF2. So let's go back to animation set editor, and the first thing you're noticing is no map is loaded. This is totally fine. What we're going to do is we're going to right click on the viewport and we're going to load map. Let's just clear out all that. And so here, yours is probably only going to have the TF and TF movies maps. I have a lot of them in user mod. There are a bunch of, these are all models and maps that I've gotten from the internet and put inside Source Filmmaker. I'll explain how to do that later. But for right now, we're just gonna go down here to filter, and we are going to search for, what's a good map that people like? What do people like? How about Gold Rush? Sure. You can just type in gold, and it'll instantly search plgoldrush.bsp. That is the file name for Gold Rush. We're going to click open, and it is going to take some time to load. If any of you were watching on Twitch, I guess while we're waiting, I can just say thank you. If you'd like to support what I do here, you can cheer with bits, or donate with money, or subscribe and help me get subscriber points to feed my children. Anyway, here we are. We are on Gold Rush right now. What we're gonna do before we start moving things, or we start looking around, we are going to go over here to this little tab here that says no camera. We're going to click the arrow that drops it down. We're going to go change scene camera, and we're going to click new camera. Now it's changed to camera 1. And now, if we click on the viewport and hold down left click, we can look around. Without a camera, you cannot look around because there's, actually it will switch to the work camera. The work camera is a free moving camera that is used so that you don't have to move your active camera in order to see around the map. You can access it quickly by just clicking on the tab, but let's go back to camera 1. To move about the world using your camera, you have to click and hold and use the WASD keys to move your camera. And you click and drag to look around. You can move left, right, forward, backwards, just as you would in a video game. You can also press Z to move up. You can press X to move down. You can hold Alt, and that will... Hold on, wait. You can push Alt and then click, and that will revolve you around whatever you're looking at. You can hold down Control and click, and then push any of the direction keys. Or, wait, nope, hold on, sorry. Click, then press Control, and then hit a movement key, and you will move slower than you would normally in case you have to ease into something. And see, if I let go of Control, I move a lot faster. Inversely, I can hold down Shift, or I can hold down Shift, and I'll move much faster. I'll just fucking go real fast. But anyways, you can see this is Gold Rush. This is all a Gold Rush. You can see all a Gold Rush from here. This is the first point. If we just move through the map, things are disappearing because we're going out of bounds, but you can see, from out of bounds, you can see everything that's in the map. You can even see the rest of the parts of the map. Here's the second point. We go over here, down in here. Here's the second part of Gold Rush. We go around here. Here's the third. And probably the most cinematic, which is the third portion of Gold Rush. It's my favorite part of Gold Rush. Yeah, there's the entirety of the thing. How to use DAG lights? I will explain that later. But for right now, I'm just kind of going over this stuff. You're still loading? Oh, okay. I imagine my computer is actually... I didn't actually like think about that people would take some time to like load in, because their computers might not be as they might not be a muscular powerhouse like my computer. So, well, I'll take some time and wait a bit. I guess I can. That's how Raxo made that area for heavy scene. Yes. I guess I can talk about a couple questions. I can take like a minute to break just in case anyone needs to catch up. But yeah. I'll take a minute. I'm gonna add this out if anyone needs to ask me anything or whatever. Enjoy some future funk for a minute. Good, now it's loaded. Okay. Let's take a minute if anyone else needs it. Or whatever, I'll just keep going. So I'm gonna... Let's choose a place to put the camera to set this scene. We were just kind of making a poster, just a basic thing. So I guess... I don't know, where's it? I don't know. Here, on this bridge. Kids like bridges. Alright, so... Let's set up, actually, let me look at my list. Let me check it twice. What the fuck was I supposed to do? Yeah, okay. Right. Let's create a model. What you're gonna do to spawn a model is you're going to right-click in this window for the animation set editor. And this menu will come up. You are going to go down to Create Animation Set for New Model. And click it. And, again, these are all models that I have in user mod. I have way more, but I removed the mods for those models. What we're gonna do is we're going to type into the filter here, down here. Type in here, HWM. And that stands for hardware morphs. I have all these from the workshop and everything, but the ones that you really want, if you're looking for, these are the ones you already have, are these Team Fortress 2 models. These are the ones that they use for movies as opposed to the ones that are in game. They have better face flexes, their textures are higher quality, they look overall better and work a lot better. We're gonna choose heavy for this one. There he is. It's him. Half-eaten weapons man. How you doing, Heavy? How are the kids? I enjoy your jawbone beard that you have going on here. Hello, Heavy. Hello, Heavy. I'm getting distracted. I'm a terrible teacher. Okay, so now we have our model, but what are we supposed to? How do we move it? When I try and click on him, I just move the camera. What do I do? What we're gonna do is we're going to click on the motion editor right here, this little tab under the timeline thing, and that brings up this green timeline for us. It basically shows the motion data of anything that you select in the animation set editor. Say, for instance, the only thing we have in the animation set editor. Let's click on Heavy. Now you can see that all of his bones, which are basically his rig, the parts of his skeleton that we can work with are highlighted when you click on everything. If you hit this plus up here, it creates a drop-down menu that shows every one of his controls. The controls for his bones. Let's open up body, for example, and click on Bip Pelvis. It will highlight just his pelvis. Now, what I have selected here is, it's this tool, but yours, I think it might start on this. I guess I can talk about the different tools. This is the vertices tool. I think that's what it's called. The global move. Yes, the global move tool. Yes, okay. Yes. This is a tool that we can use as, evidenced by the arrows. It is a tool that we can use to move bones. Now, what I just did there. When you move anything, it puts the timeline in this orange-yellow state, this gross honey state. That shows that something has changed in with the bone you've selected. If you hit exit, it undoes everything. If you hit enter, it will confirm it and lock it into place. Or rather just be like, alright, fine, I won't get rid of it. If you hit escape again, it doesn't do anything. But if you hold down Control and Z, it will put it back into this state. If you hit Control Z again, you go back again. This is, Control Z is undo. So yeah, with this, you can move him up and down with the arrow. You can move him back and forth, left and right. You can use these to move him within an area, or like within this axis, just free roaming. Or you can hold the square in the middle to move him about based on how you're looking at him. Now, that's good for moving him, but what if we want to rotate him? You will choose the rotate tool. In the same vein, this allows you to rotate the model however you like. These ones can be used to just move him straight on vertices, or you can click the circle itself to move him however you like. You will spend a lot of time just doing this. It's mesmerizing. And lastly, we'll go back to this, what the hell is it called? Screen. Sure, the screen tool. This is a combination of both the rotate and the move tool. You can rotate by clicking anywhere in the circle, and you can move by clicking on the square. However, it does not have the precise vertices rotations. Additionally, by clicking on the square and holding down Alt, by moving your mouse left and right, you can send a model further and closer to your screen. I'm a terrible teacher. This also works by moving. No, it's just left and right. Never mind. I forget it. Now, if you're going to move a model around, when you click on everything, it defaults to its root transform. The root transform is basically the bottom, like where the ground is, according to this model. So now we want to put him onto the ground, right? So using what we've learned, let's take let's take the move tool and move him down. Easy does it. Easy does it. There we go. And then let's be a bit advanced and use this circle to move him back. I think I want him to face towards the camera. Let's turn him with the rotate tool. That was very tedious. Instead of doing all of that, you can just go into either this one or this one, click the square, hold down shift, and the model will automatically gravitate towards the ground. What doing this does is, like I said, the root transform tells the model where the ground is. So it immediately puts the root into whatever collision is currently there. There's also collision on other models, so if I spawned in a box, I could put him on top of it as well. Let's just put heavy there for now. Now let's pose him. Yeah, I think that's a good time to show you this. What we're going to do is we're going to go to View, click on that. Show. Hold on, no, wait, go to Window. No, I said Window. Go to the Window tab up at the top of your screen. Go down. Click on Secondary Viewport. This will create a secondary viewport window. Take the tab that says Secondary Viewport, click and drag it. Drag it over here. You can see that there are different slots in which this window can be put in. If you want to customize how your source Filmmaker looks, you can take any of these tabs and put them however you like. It even shows you where this will end up. I'm going to put mine here. Now there are two windows. And so you can change the size of either of these windows. Usually, I like to have this camera bigger and assigned to the camera. And I like to use this camera as my work camera. Whoopsie doodle, whoopsie sploopsie, I made a fucky wucky. I forgot to move the work camera. Oh, it's gonna take forever to get it here. No, it's not. Shut up. You hold down control and then you click on this, and it will immediately put the work camera into the same position as the active camera. See, now I can look all around and not move or ruin my second shot. Or my shot. Cool. So now, let's talk about cameras. What you're gonna do is you're gonna right-click in the animation set editor here, and you are going to click Create Animation Set for Existing Element. It's gonna open this window. You're gonna click on Camera 1 and click OK. You're gonna expand this, and now we've created an animation set for the camera. Once we do this, we cannot move the camera anymore until we, as it says here, we have to go into the motion editor, click on the camera in the animation set editor, and then we can move it. Just like the models, we can also hit escape to undo anything that we've done to the camera. Now, why in the world would we want to do this? Because down here, just like there are controls for heavy, there are now controls for the camera. And you can see that the field of view is quite high. Just as a reference, if you get really close to a model and they start getting this like weird fish head, or their head gets all like thin and then they look really weird, or their head gets long when you're like over here, that's because your field of view is too high and you're too close to a camera or to a character. Now, if it's a far out shot, sometimes you want to get a lot of stuff in, and then that makes sense to have a high field of view. But for this, we're a bit more personal with heavy. So what we're gonna do is with this selected and in the motion viewer, we're gonna click on this right here in this bar. You can click anywhere, but we click on this bar, and we're gonna move it down quite a bit, about here. Well, now we just have a weird angle of sort of Heavy's dick, so let's just bring that out. And now this looks a bit better. We have a lower field of view, and we can see Heavy. We can see most of his body. What we're also gonna want to do is change the focal distance to engulf him. Basically, the focal distance tells the camera, this is what I want you to focus on. And we want whatever the focus is to be within this pink kind of field that's being projected here. We let go, it goes back to being this. This is what we want. Okay, so let's pose Heavy. There are two ways to pose a model. We can click on these bones, and we can just kind of move them like this. This is how bones move, by the way. I probably should go over that. God. Goodness gracious, great balls of being bad at teaching people. Alright, no, this is a learning experience for both of us, don't worry. So, when you take, let's take the pelvis, right? We can turn it like we did before, and it turns the entire model. That's because the pelvis, in most cases, is the root of the model. We can also take parts of his spine and turn them. Doesn't turn the entire thing, it just turns part of his body. However we want. We can, right, what I'm doing, I'm not clicking on this. You can hold down control, and that will show you all the bones of everything that's in the viewport right now. If you have too many things on screen and you want to not see something's bones, you can click on this little arrow here, and you hold down control, and you won't see anything. Additionally, while I'm over here, you can also click on this eye, and it will make the model completely invisible. But if you keep this arrow on, you can still see its bones. Anyway, So we can also take the thing and move him around like this, right? Now what if we take his spine and try and move it around like that? We get this stretching thing. His body really isn't supposed to do that because spines don't really move, they just rotate. That's not what they're for. Pretty much anything on his body we can stretch out and make all weird like this. We can give him longer arms. Maybe this is what you want to do, but for a normal pose, you probably don't. In some situations.
An act of seduction, not an act of violence. What she did.
The side, yeah. Sorry if the side of the window's a bit cut off. That's my bad. I didn't know. But it's there. But yeah, basically when you pose any bone that's not the pelvis, you want to use the rotation tool. Otherwise you'll stretch it out. Sometimes if you're doing a still image or you want to get, no, you can't go to the washroom. If you're trying to, basically, sometimes you want to stretch it out, like, I can bend heavy like this, and then, pull on him like this. And then we can move his leg, like, down here. Like this. You get the basic idea. It kind of looks like Heavy is coming at the screen, right? But if we actually look at it, Heavy is elongated. If you want to do some things, like an artist you probably know, Pybun, does this a lot. You can stretch things towards the screen or hide them within other things or behind other things to make it look like the model isn't. The model's not like all stretched out and spaghettified throughout the universe, but you know, whatever. Let's just take this all. Let's bring it all back. Let's bring it all back. Okay. Children, stop fighting. Right. So, posing. I don't usually pose like this, but you can just kind of move the body however you like. Just kind of like let's I don't know, like this, like this, I guess. Like, oh, it's me, heavy weapons, mine. Here I come. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, like that, and then, oh look, Heavy is on his way to work. What a delicious view of the world. Good on you, mate. And sometimes you can, there's nothing wrong with posing like this, but the way I do posing is with IK rigs. Currently, the mode that Heavy is in is called an FK rig, where, you know, this happens. You try and pull on anything on his body and it stretches out. You know, the rest of his body isn't really responsive to it besides stretching out. Now, hold on. Oh, God. There's so many things I gotta tell you guys about, but let me just, okay. So, I'm going to set Heavy back into his normal position, and a very fast way to do that is to right click on it, go down to import, and then go to sequence. Now this is a sequence editor, and it has all the animations that are associated with the model. Like for instance, his taunts, his poses, his animations for dying, basically everything that this boy got in him is here. But right here, if you go to ref, or sometimes it's called ragdoll, it's the first one that you get to. He goes into his A pose or T pose or whatever. If you want a pose from the game or an animation from the game, you can get this, but a lot of times it's very easy to see when you've done that, and you don't really want to do it too much because it kind of deducts from the quality of the product that you are making. But unless it's supposed to look like an in-game screenshot, in which case, go for it. But we're gonna click open, and then we'll set Heavy back into the motion that he's in. Now, for rigs, you're going to right-click on this, go to rig. Again, I have a lot, but the one that you probably already just have is called Rig Biped Simple. Click on this, and now Heavy's been given a new kind of skeleton. Look, he's missing so many bones. Where did they go? They're still there. You just can't see them. They've been replaced with constraints. See, now all the bones that were called Bip have been replaced with Rig. We click on Pelvis, instead of moving the entire thing around. What is this? Heavy can do a little dance. Look at him. Oh yeah. Get it, fat boy. Oh damn. Get it, fat boy. Get it, fat boy. Right. Basically what the IK rig will do is it sets up a set of constraints that are based on the bones, and it will move everything for you in response to the, the model. So you don't have to, like if I want to move his arm, I don't have to go here, move it up, here, move it up, here, move it up. And it can be a bit tricky to work with at first, but basically think of it like it's a puppet, like a marionette. You're moving the, think it as if there were a bunch of strings connected to where the controls are. The hand, the elbow, the collar, the feet, the pelvis. It makes posing things a lot simpler for me. If you want to do it with the FK rig, go for it. That's totally fine. I will probably post something with an FK rig after this, just to, yeah. Go back, how do you do that? Certainly. You right-click on the model, you go to Rig, over here in this thing, and it'll bring out this menu. For you, it'll probably be up here because you probably don't have a lot of scripts, but you are going to find this one called Rig Biped Simple, and you're going to click on that. If you want to remove it, you're going to go up here to Detach Rig, and you can either click Detach All, or Rig Biped Heavy 1. So, you can rotate these and they will rotate with it. You can move this around. Basically, the rig script is a big formula that's like, okay, SFM, listen up. If this boy moves his arms like this is how the rest of the bones connected to this is what the rest of the bones connected to the hand are supposed to do. Now, you can see here, sometimes the rig fucks up with the arm and it's like, oh fuck, what are you doing? What are you doing, my dude? But if you want, if you're trying to be like, oh, Heavy's looking out at something, but Heavy cannot see because his arm's all fucked up, and humans don't work like this. What you gotta do is move the collar. This thing right here. This is very important. Remember this when you're posing something. The collar is one of the only bones that's still left on the rig that you can still stretch out. But the collar is very important for posing because it stops this broken arm motion or style that's happening. What you want to do is kind of move it and turn it until it kind of gives you what you want. Sometimes what's happened is you need to move the hand a bit more back to fix what's going on with the elbow. And also, if the elbow is just giving you sass in general, you can also move this like this. The elbow bone has become like a tether of sorts, as you can see on right here. And the control that you're moving will angle it because it's pulling on it in a certain direction. You cannot rotate it this way. Rotating does nothing for it. It is instead is a constraint that moves it like this. It can be pretty hard to grasp, so yeah. Actually, I think it probably would be best if I just... Oh, one other thing. When rigs and constraints are put on things, including locks, when those are put on models, you cannot import animations. This is because the program cannot assign sequences to the bones while there are constraints on it. The constraints are controlling the bones, not the program. This is it's a script that is telling the bones what to do. So in order to do that, we are going to have to go to rig, detach rig, and we detach all. And after a bit, after it is like, okay, hold on, let me do some math and get all this shit together, it will slap the model, it'll undo all the constraints and put the model back to how it was.